Hey everybody, I'm Chris Wall, executive producer of the Wingfeather Saga animated series. Thanks for joining for our summer read and watch. This is the final episode of season 1, episode 6. And if you've been following along, if you missed any of the prior episodes, of course, go back and watch those so we don't spoil anything for you. But today we're going to be talking about episode 6, which is chapters 41 through 51 in the book. All right. Well, I think you have the first question.
I have the first question. So, in the book, the song My Love Has Gone Across the Sea doesn't come up until book 3. Way, in the hollows. So, why did you decide to have Nia sing it over Poto when he's, dying in the finale?
That's a good question.
I mean...
Spoiler.
I like it.
So, interestingly, we had a long discussion about this. So, if you haven't, you go find My Love's Gone Across the Sea. It's on all the Apple, Spotify music service things. And it's performed by Jodie Benson, who is, of course, Nia. And in the full released version, it's the whole song. All the verses.
Right.
Okay. All the verses, which is important here. So, in the show, we only use a little bit of it. Not the important later verses, which have to do with things that happen in book 3.
Right. So
that was kind of one safeguard to put on it, because it is very specific to a moment. But we then thought, well, let's imagine this song is a song that exists in the world. It wasn't improv'd in book 3 at this very important moment. That it was actually a song that maybe the family has sung before. So it also, early on in the development of Wingfeather, we were looking around for what our main theme might be. Mm-hmm. So every TV show or movie will have a main theme. Like, what's the thing? And we really felt like the melody for My Love was kind of the best of the themes we had. And Andrew and I were like, okay, let's make that the main theme. And so you hear it as part of, because it has a lot of thematics for the whole story.
Right.
And Andrew likes to talk a lot about happy, sad songs, right? That are both beautiful but mournful, longing. That's a lot of what we like to put in Wingfeather, is that sense of longing, right? And so this song kind of worked for that. It actually appears at the end of episode 5 as the family's going away in the carriage.
Right.
And that moment, I had this realization that the kids are sitting in the wagon, and they're going away. It's after all the Slarb stuff. And the thwaps, but they this last time they're going to see their home ever, right? I mean, maybe as adults, maybe somebody came back, but the idea is that's it. They're saying goodbye to the only home they've ever known, really, right? 9 years. They're pretty young kids. That's it. Certainly for Lily, it's the only home. So wanted to make that a moment, right? Of right. Whoa, this is goodbye. And so we actually play that tune, not the lyrics or whatnot, but we play it really strongly right there. To kind of set us up. And then, of course, in episode 6. And then, obviously we felt like there's this great moment that I wanted to see happen of both the battle outside that we wanted to kind of experience firsthand. The books, you don't really get to experience it firsthand, like what was Pete and Nugget going through. And then what are we experiencing downstairs? And then that just worked out really nicely, that I didn't want Poto to just be injured and laying there for just because some fang, but that gave us the opportunity to have his mortal wound come from the primary enemy of season 1, right, Slarb. And so there was a natural connection there. But yeah, it also, we just knew it was going to be a really emotional moment, right? And I think for anybody who hadn't read the books, it's the feeling of he might just die right there.
Right.
That could be it. The other thing I have to say about that moment, have either of you ever had to visit someone when they're maybe elderly or they're approaching death, like in a hospital, right? And it's a moment, right? When you're there for this kind of, it's quite holy. I think in America, in the U.S., we're not good with death. We don't know how to sit with it. We don't know how to be with it, right? And I wanted to play it out in a way that played, for a while. And so the next morning, they're there and he's kind of breathing his last. It is. Without Pete, he would have just died right there, right? That we had the family be able to sit with that it's kind of part of life is death, right? And this sort of thing, whether unjust or untimely, it's still a thing. So I wanted to really address it honestly, and I didn't want it to be like they sang a song and magically he felt better, right? That was not going to be real either. That the song is really meant to be a comfort, right? In this really difficult time of watching your grandfather, who is the strength of their family, you know. And I think for a lot of us as kids, when we see our father or even our mother be hurt or sick, or it really unsettles us, right? And kind of throws us out. So, so I think that knowing what that moment needed to be made it really easy to say this song is the right one for that. So yeah,
it's very. Oh, it's so sad. Oh.
Yeah, and only because of what happened next with Pete did it change, right? It would have definitely gone in the direction. All right, you go to the next question.
Okay. In the book, Slarb dies by Petta's blade right after he opens the box of flaps. Why did you decide to save his fate?
Do you remember how it happens in the book exactly? Can you tell me? In the book,
I don't really
they're at the house.
Exactly.
And then
Slarb's there.
Yes.
and he captures Tink, and he's saying,
Kill.
Janner, I'm gonna kill Tink if you don't tell me where the jewels are.
Then he gives him the box of flaps.
Yep.
And then he opens it, and he gets
It's
attacked.
flaps, but then what happens? You remember?
And then Poto comes and kills him.
But what he does is he shoves him outside,
Yes.
and there's a sound, and then Poto walks in, and evidently Slarb died.
Yes.
But we didn't see that. We didn't get to have a moment of that, and I was like, that's not cool. Like, this guy's been a terrible, bad Fang. Like, there are Fangs that are bad, but this guy's been particularly bad, right? And so I wanted to have a comeuppance, like they need to fight it out. So I thought, well, what if we have him survive that moment? And of course he does. And instead move it to Ankle Jelly and have a big fight there. Because I knew that we needed Poto to be mortally wounded. So it was like, Slarb could do that. How could Slarb do it? Well, then we thought Slarb's smart enough that he would have gotten Ankle Jelly and gotten inside before the other Fangs. So yeah, that was interesting to kind of figure that one out.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You got the next question here.
Okay. The scene where Nia tells the kids they're the jewels of Rhaenyra is a huge reveal. What are some things you thought about while adapting that scene?
Okay, so describe how that scene plays out in the books. Do you guys remember?
In the books,
Yep.
they are in Pete's treehouse.
Okay, so we got that part.
Okay. They're asking where are the jewels of Rhaenyra?
Right.
Poto says, what are they?
Right, and that starts the conversation. Wait, I'm asking the wrong question, right? I think that's what he says, yeah. Yeah.
And then and then she says that you are the jewels of Rhaenyra. You're the children of the High King.
Yep. So the hard part of this scene in particular is it's really close to what the books have. It's a lot of talking. So I think that the thing that I was working on the hardest was how can we think about blocking and staging and making it interesting, because it is a huge reveal, but it's just a lot of talking. And I recognize those moments when you see a lot of talking in a script. It's like, ooh, this is going to be hard. How do we keep your attention and just keep you invested, right? What can we do there? And so we have the tension, of course, of Poto, like, I'm not going to go in the house. I don't want to be a part of this guy. And then, Lily comes out and says, please, Grandpa. And then they go in, which kind of builds their relationship. And then it kind of largely plays out. But what we thought about was, like, how do we break this up into the big pieces? Obviously, the big aha that, one, you're the jewels of Rhaenyra. And then secondly, that your brother's the king, not you. What? Right? That's probably my favorite moment in that whole thing. And then, of course, that Lily is the Song Maiden, which she's going to have to learn a lot about that. In adapting the series, this was actually a really critical difference in the books. We decided to split, knowing they are the jewels of Rhaenyra, and then what that actually means in the magic system of the world.
Right.
Right, okay, so great, the jewels of Rhaenyra. I don't know what that means. So Nia has no idea. She just knows because she was told this by Esmond, they're the jewels of Rhaenyra. What does that mean? Okay. Over here, Nag the Nameless, the main bad guy, knows the jewels of Rhaenyra are the secret to him getting great power. Right? More power than he's ever had. Okay? So then, but he thinks that they're jewels, like rocks, right? That he thinks they're actual that, right? He doesn't know that they are people, right? It's a huge gap. So we got to keep that line really vivid, that he's looking for this. He thinks that the king and queen and kids would know about them. He doesn't. He thinks they're, of course, the queen and kids are dead. He's like, they're not alive, right? Because they went in the Dark Sea in a boat and they're gone, right? When he discovers much later that they actually are alive, like that's like, okay, well, they definitely know where the jewels are. Like if anybody knows where these, secret stones that could control all of Aerwiar, right? It's going to be these guys. They probably carry them with them, right? And they could be little things. He doesn't know what they are, right, at all. And so Nia knows that they're actually the kids. What Nag wants with them, no idea. So their best play is to be secret. They're not called the Wingfeathers. They're called the Igibys. And so we actually held that in season 2 and in season 3 even, calling them Igiby, not Wingfeather, for a long time, because the moment Nag knows the Wingfeather people, the queen and children, are alive and operating, that's like zoom in, find those, right? It's way more intense, right? They just know there's some Aeneran family that has some information that probably knows about the jewels. They don't know that's the Queen of Aenera. They don't know. And we worked really hard to keep that information separate. Does that make sense? Yes. In the books, it's way more casual. Like, I think Janner introduces himself as a Wingfeather almost immediately. Like, I mean, once they have this, they get real casual with it, and everybody knows that they're the Wingfeather family. Like, that they're the royalty of Aenera, which is, like, actually kind of dangerous. Mm-hmm. If General Crack learned that, he would redouble. If the Stonekeeper knew that it was, this is the queen and kids of Aenera, I mean, it would go, right? So this episode had a really big moment of like careful amount of information, keeping separate from this other.
Right.
So revealing that these are those jewels and what their responsibilities are was a really important moment for us to earn that, like, this is going to go somewhere. And obviously season 1 is just setting up for this amazing long journey through these books in season 2, 3, and beyond. But I think it set a solid foundation in this one. Yeah. Great questions, guys. All right, you've made it to the end. Yay! Thanks for joining in this read and watch. Hopefully you enjoyed reading the book again so far, and finishing up with season 1 here. Love to hear what other differences you saw, things you might have done differently. This is kind of our imagination version of it in the television series, but if you have other ideas, we'd love to hear it. Put it in the comments, please. And of course, we'll put out a quiz very soon. Look for that, and we'd love for you to take it, and that'll be your entry into winning maybe a set of these figurines here. We can reenact them. This is like their season 1 outfits, by the way. So in season 2 and 3, they look different. So at home, you can make your own costumes for them. Really tiny ones to put on top. That probably wouldn't work. I don't think it's going to work.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
You could... Lily could put on...
The little shoes and boots would be the hard part right there. I'm just going to tell you. All right. Anyways, thanks for joining for this summer, and we will see you in season 3. It's coming really fast. Yeah. And enjoy reading and watching for episode 6 again. Thanks. See you next time.